There isn't anything more critical to the sustainability of our ministry than maintaining a close connection to those who are paying and praying for our ministries. Do you realize the simplest way to keep our supporters is to stay connected to our supporters? And one of the most effective ways to stay connected is through regular and effective communication. I love the quote, "Distance doesn't separate us, silence does." Whether we live 5 blocks or 5,000 miles away from our audience, it doesn't matter. Distance doesn't matter. What does matter is facing the fact that silence with our supporters, our potential supporters, and our churches, no matter where they are, is missional suicide. We have never had more ways to communicate than we do today. From yellow pad and pencil to the latest social media application, our opportunities for communication are unlimited. Where each of us tend to drop the ball is in the practice of communication and understanding the power of communication to sustain our ministry, expand God's kingdom, and transform lives even at home. You might say the impact of our ministry in the field is directly related to the impact of our communication home. Everything hinges on our ability to cause our supporters, our potential supporters, our churches, and our broader audience to live what we live, see what we see, and experience what we experience. And one way to do this is through storytelling. Do you realize that people are 22 times more likely to remember key points and critical facts if they're included in a story? 22 times. As far as retention, a story beats bullet points every time. Storytelling is a way to weave your donors into the fabric of your ministry. And if we can wrap them up in what God's doing through their ministry, their partnership, a miracle occurs. Your ministry becomes their ministry. And when that happens, ministries flourish. Beyond that, your stories also have an impact at headquarters. We need your stories so we can tell them and broaden their impact far beyond your own audience. Your stories of God at work are what drive our social media platforms, attract new missionaries, generate new donors, and enable us to answer the accountability questions posed to us by your supporting churches and your donors. If we don't hear your stories and receive your monthly reports, we have no way to know what you're doing. And if we don't know what you're doing, it's impossible for us to tell your churches, supporters, and missions committees what you're doing. And if they don't know what you're doing, and we don't know what you're doing, what are you doing? So, to wrap this up, storytelling is critical for the effectiveness of your ministry, for the sustainability of global outreach mission, and accountability to those who are paying and praying for all of us in missions ministry. But to tell a good story, it helps to understand the elements that make a story good.